All right, guys. For today's trade recap, we basically we lost again on the funded, and then that made me very, very disappointed and angry. To the point where I was just trading on a combine. And we'll go over those trades and was I actually trading? Like good question. The answer is no. But let's go over this real quick. I'll go over this trade real quick for the combine. I took that trade. I took one on. I'll just go over the whole thing. So going into today, I was pretty much bearish. I was bearish. Why? We were sweeping above these highs. We were inside of that 4-hour bearish BPR, right here. And I thought to myself, like if the market, well, we weren't really tapping up into it yet, but we were inside of the SIBI. I think NQ was tapping up into it. No, it wasn't. I think it was on the 1 hour. If I'm not mistaken. We can go to the 1 hour real quick and see what happened. No, it wasn't either. So yeah, just false shorts. But yeah, we're sweeping above the highs. We had SMT at those highs. With YM was never breaking above those highs, while ES and NQ were. Today I was more bearish. I was like, all right, hold on. We sold off. We're retracing. This looks clear. Clear for the market to what? Move down lower. I was instantly, like my brain was shut off. Logic was gone. Emotions were all over the place. I was just like, I gotta catch something today. I gotta catch, and I was just so impatient, bro. And it makes me so mad because, like, I did the live recording session. I'm gonna review it and I'm gonna, but I'm not really talking. I'm just like quiet. I'm in my own head, but I know what's going inside of my own head. Like I'm quiet, trying to like take shorts, force the market to give me something, and that isn't ideal. Whenever that happened. But yeah, let's go over this again. And again, it was just like during 9 o'clock. I wasn't really waiting after 10, not really waiting for these confluences to form, not really paying attention to the higher time frame, seeing a fair value gap, seeing the candle sweep on the 30-minute, looking for strong displacement down lower. There was false, SMT on the lower time frame. And again, we didn't wait for the candle closes. Like this is very, very crucial. If we don't wait for the candle closures, how are we supposed to get that lower time frame and the higher time frame SMT to be confirmed? It makes no sense, it makes really no sense. But let's go over that. I'll go over that later. Or I'll go over it in my journal, I guess. But we had this candle range low sweep. Market pushed up higher. 30-minute time frame though. This is what I was looking at. I was looking at this candle range low sweep. Or this one right here, actually. My bad. Looking at this one right here, I thought the market was gonna drop, continue lower, and then reach for this right here. And that's the issue. I thought. I continue to like do this where I anticipate where the market is going, even though we see clear signs that the market is bullish right now and is not really looking to be bearish. Why? Because we had this inversion for fair value gap form on the 1 hour time frame. We also had this inversion for fair value gap form. We also had a break above the highs. Clearly, the market structure right here is looking more bullish than bearish, and the market clearly wants to reach for some upside potential and like probably for the unmitigated area of that fair value gap of the BPR. And then on the 15-minute time frame, again, we had that sweep above the highs on the 30-minute. 5-minute time frame, this is where I look for my trade idea. This 5-minute inversion for rally up, I entered after that. And then my stop loss placement was like right above here, bro. I got like wicked out, and then the market went and hit my break-even point, which would have been right here. That would have been my break-even point. And I was just really aiming. I was risking 1%, aiming for like a 1 to 2 or 1 to 1. Like around here, not really much, just for these lows to cover, make back my loss and be up a little bit. But now, now we're down 2%, which is pretty unfortunate. What do I plan on doing next? What is my game plan? This wasn't a bad trade at all, because YM was moving lower, NQ was moving up higher, and this is something I told myself whenever I was in the live trade. Wait for NQ to move lower and form that inversion. Don't try to catch the downside movement on one. Like if YM and ES are moving lower, NQ has to get to move lower, and ES is like stalling around inside of a range. Wait for NQ to confirm and move lower, because then eventually once you do catch that downside movement, it may not be a lot, but it's still going to be, you're still gonna have more reassurance whenever you're in those shorts, and as opposed to boom, we swept the lows, pushed up higher. Let me show you the chart executions here. Just clear, simple. Let's go over this. Enter shorts right here, 6. Yeah, we got stopped out to the tick, and I didn't have this manual stop loss placement. I had it from the OCL brackets of just risking 1%. I was risking only one con, and I thought, this is a good enough range. It's like 10 points, not bad. Like the market shouldn't really move up 10 points after forming this inversion. But really, I should hold, and then next, boom, we got stopped out to the tick, and then it moved down lower. It got me really frustrated. It got me really tilted. I won't lie. And then I went on a combine and I bought a combine right here, and we took we didn't take many trades. We took like 4 trades around there. Yeah, we took 4 trades. So we lost one on NQ. We'll go over that, and then we hit break even. So we shorted, then we longed, and then we longed, then we longed. So we were right after taking the L twice on shorts. Yeah, let's go to NQ. Again, 1 minute SIBI. Market's moving down lower, breaking below these lows. 5-minute time frame. The other one was forming the inversion for value gap. I thought to myself, you know, this is bearish. This is bearish. You know, I'm forcing my bias on these other markets. And then eventually you can see here we took that short on 582, got stopped out, and then we bought 2, and then we sold 2 right here, and then we just didn't hold it. We were chopping inside of the range, and then I went to ES. I was like, all right, ES looks better than every single other market here. Stopped out. I chose my stop loss to break even. It got stopped out. Let me put on the charts. And then this one, my stop loss was all the way down here. I won't lie, it was down here. I was risking a little bit, and yeah, wasn't bad. My bias originally switched whenever we formed this 2-minute inversion fairly up, and we swept those lows, and we were looking really bullish here. That's when I was like, all right, market doesn't want to move down lower, because then if it did want to move down lower, we would have respected this after sweeping those lows to then eventually continue to the downside. But it never happened. You know, it never happened. That 5-minute inverse never held to the way I wanted it to. So then eventually we just took those longs, and it played out perfectly. We didn't form SMT at the highs just yet until later on, and that's kind of why I got it out of the trade a little bit early there. Yeah, that was pretty much really it, the trade ideas for today. I am low-key pissed on the funded. I hate how I lost twice already, and my main dilemma here with the funded account is just being impatient, bro. I'm being way too impatient. I'm not being picky enough with my setups, and I even talked about this on the weekly recap, you know, on the trading vlog. I need to be more picky. I need to be not forcing every single setup I see. I'm so impatient to just make some money, get a payout, you know, and like that's really crushing my quality of my trades. I'm just trying to get quantity, you know, and it's really sad because again, I'm just forcing setups when I know in reality those aren't following the model. Like today, the last trade I took was following the model to a certain degree, I won't lie. Even though it was more of like a Rambo Jambo gamble. You know, it was like not really the best setup, but it was following it. It didn't have the confluences I wanted to see, especially with the lows down here. How NQ swept those lows, ES swept those lows, NQ never really swept those lows. YM was sweeping those lows, and then you know that 30-minute candle range low sweep. You know, all those confluences that formed on ES. You know, and then yeah, it was kind of following the model, and we got, you know, we didn't get punished for it. We won. So what is my plan going forward? My plan going forward is to pass the combine, get another funded, and continue trading this one like I have been. And then eventually just continue going back and forth. You know, like if I see a good setup on one, I'll continue trading that one and taking it. And either we blow it or we get a payout and then eventually rinse and repeat to the other one. This is another thing too. Like if you only have one account, you're really going to try to force and perform on one account. And that's what I've realized. So that's kind of why I bought another one. I could care less about the combine. If I blow it, I don't really care. If I pass it, I could really care less. All I really care about is preserving this funded account and being more picky with my setups and just filtering out every single setup I see and only taking A quality, A plus setups, bro. Those setups I'm taking on the funded should be taken on the combine, bro. Those are like medium type setups that I shouldn't really care about, you know, like, okay, yeah, this is a good setup, but this isn't like an A plus setup that I see in my playbook, you know, like I wouldn't take this here, you know, like that's the type of mindset I need to have. And I hate how I have that mindset on the funded, bro. Like I hate how I have that, like, okay, this doesn't look bad. I'm willing to take a stab here. But then my stab is like my only trade for today, and it's not worth it. I'd rather wait for something that's more high quality, more of an edge. So again, we only have 2 more losses left inside of us to take, and then maybe this account's gone. But you know, one win can wipe out every single loss. That's how good my system is. One win can wipe out every single loss. It doesn't really lose much. It has a high win rate. So if we just actually follow the A plus system, we continue to take those A plus setups, and we're gonna just do really well. And we're probably gonna get back on a green streak. So I have to really reflect and think about it and be more patient with myself when I'm on the funded. Not really taking every single setup I see like this. This wasn't a bad setup. I won't lie. It wasn't a bad setup. This was way better than the last setup I took last week. Last week's setup, you know, the 30-second time frame, not bad. This one, I mean, that was bad. This one's not bad. This one's not bad at all. 5-minute inverse. Waited for more confirmation, better confluences. And now I'm about to go journal these trades and just call it a day here. So that's pretty much really it. And I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.